Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest Mexican urban legends.
Puedes sentir casi a través de las muñecas una sensación que es algo así como si te estuvieran mirando cuando entras.
For this list, we're looking at the stories based in Mexican folklore that will send chills down your spine. We'll only be including Mexican legends, so the chupacabra is out. Yeah, believe it or not, our goat-sucking friend is not Mexican. Which of these urban legends do you find the scariest? Let us know in the comments below.
No tengo dinero para pagarle.
Number 10. Hotel California.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
No, we're not talking about the song by the Eagles, even though the lyrics may match up with the original legend. This urban legend speaks of a colorful hotel in the town of Todos Santos, Mexico, which is inhabited by the spirit of a young woman named Mercedes. Men who visit the hotel are invited in for a few drinks, while women are promised a bottle of wine in their rooms. The pleasant company of the beautiful Mercedes sounds inviting as you venture into room number 6. But there is a catch, and if you know the song, you may be able to guess what it is. Once you spend a night here, you can never leave. Number 9. La Tisigua. The story of La Tisigua comes from the streets of Chiapas. It's there that she's said to present herself to men who take a little too much time swimming on the shores of the Sabinal River. The specter entices those unfortunate enough to see her, claps her hands, and calls them seductively by their name.
Y su distintivo principal es que ella flota y camina con los talones por delante.
These unlucky souls find themselves dumbstruck, losing their voice, their mind, and their spirit. Even though older residents say that La Tisigua was invented to scare the young so they wouldn't misbehave, you're better safe than sorry. Might be a good idea to keep your distance from the Sabinal River anyway.
Por eso es que es uno de los espantos más peligrosos que existen en nuestro estado.
Number 8. El Hombre del Sombrerón. Here's another Chiapas legend, and this one tells the story of the man in the big hat. While walking the streets at night, you might encounter this man, who is described as a tall, stocky gentleman wearing an elegant suit with gold buttons and huge boots with silver spurs. No one has ever seen his face, as it's covered by an enormous black hat that always keeps it hidden. This character is known to seduce women and to capture the souls of those who dare damage the nature of the area. It's said that he causes extreme shock in his victims, rendering them incapable of moving or running away. He instills in them a sense of anguish and an indescribable fear that leaves them speechless and defenseless. Number 7. La Isla de las Muñecas. Located on the canals of Xochimilco, towards the southern end of Mexico City, the Island of the Dolls has become one of the area's main attractions. As its name suggests, the island is covered with old broken dolls that hang from trees, posts, and fences. It's said that Julián Santana, the island's previous owner, once found the lifeless body of a young girl tangled in the water lilies that grow in the canals.
Una isla que fue fundada por Julián Santana, un hombre muy querido en toda esta región, apreciado por la gente que vive allí.
Soon after, he started to experience strange phenomena in the form of whispers and voices that called out to him. Thinking he heard the girl asking for her doll back, he started hanging dolls everywhere in an effort to appease the girl's soul. Dolls that he claimed to find in the trash and floating on the canals. Eventually, people became interested in the island, and Santana started letting the curious and brave wander closer. And, in return, they left more and more dolls as gifts, turning the Island of the Dolls into the unusual tourist attraction we know today.
Puedes sentir casi a través de las muñecas una sensación que es algo así como si te estuvieran mirando cuando entras, que estuvieran observando todo tu recorrido entre la isla.
Number 6. La Pascualita. At first glance, La Pascualita just seems to be a mannequin in the front window of La Popular dress shop in Chihuahua, Mexico, albeit a very realistic mannequin. Its features constantly confuse people, to the point where they insist it's a real person.
Y ahí la tienen totalmente de frente, si pueden ver la mirada es muy real, es una mirada que incluso puede llegar a intimidar a cualquiera, y más a las personas que se acercan a la tienda por las noches.
In fact, rumor has it that the mannequin is actually the shop owner's daughter. In life, she was a beautiful, kind young woman with a promising future who met her premature end on her wedding day, falling victim to a scorpion sting. Legend says that her mother, stricken with grief and unable to move on, embalmed her corpse, dressed her in the finest clothing, and posed her in the window so she would always be close to her. The story goes on to say that she can sometimes be seen wandering the streets of Chihuahua, after closing up the shop, of course. Funnily enough, many brides come into the shop, as it's said that La Pascualita will bring them luck.
La grabación muestra el momento justo en que parece que la maniquí le sonríe a las cámaras. Observe y compare las imágenes.
Number 5. El hombre que no respetó el Día de Muertos. Once upon a time, there was a hard-working farmer. He was so dedicated to his land and his job that one particular year, he decided to work all through El Día de Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, completely dismissing the holiday's sacred traditions. As he toiled away in his field, he started hearing voices asking for food and drink. Right away, he recognized the voices as those of his long-dead relatives. He dropped his tools and rushed home to build an altar, asking his wife to make a meal as an offering to the dead. As he waited, he suddenly felt tired and laid down to rest his eyes. When the altar was ready, his wife came to wake him up, only to realize that he was already dead. News of this death spread far and wide, and everyone who heard the tale knew the reason for his death. You never disrespect the Day of the Dead.
Adiós, adiós, amor. Recuerda que te amé, que siempre te di amar.
Number 4. La Nahuala. Picture it. Puebla, New Mexico, 1807. A grandmother lives with her 2 grandchildren, Nando and Leonardo. Nando used to tell his younger brother stories about a witch the townspeople called La Nahuala, who lived in an old abandoned mansion. It was there, Nando said, that she kept the souls of 2 girls who had disappeared during the 18th century. And she was preparing to get another pure soul, one that would give her the power to wipe out all the townspeople.
La leyenda dice que si te agarra la noche caminando por la calle de La Nahuala, debes tener mucho cuidado.
One day, Nando decided to go into the house, hoping to prove his bravery, but he never came out. When Leonardo heard this, he and his grandmother ran to Nando's rescue. After facing ghosts, skeletons, and menacing voices all around the mansion, he was able to recover his brother's soul. Number 3. The Woman in Black. It's said that in the year 1951, a lady began appearing on the road that leads from the city of Pachuca to Real del Monte. This woman is supposedly wearing a long black dress, topped off with a veiled hat. She hails motorists who find themselves driving alone past midnight, especially on nights with heavy fog, asking them for a ride to a local cemetery.
¿Me hiciera el favor de llevarme de regreso al cementerio donde me recogió?
A esta hora está muy solo por ahí.
No se preocupe. Ya nada me puede pasar.
Those who oblige her request claim that once there, she walks clear through the cemetery gates, prompting those witnesses to flee. Those who decline to give her a ride say that after informing her they could not take her to her destination, she simply disappears.
Me va usted a disculpar. No tengo dinero para pagarle.
Number 2. El Charro Negro. The story of El Charro Negro begins with a young man. He is poor, but extremely vain and greedy. One day, that greed got the better of him, and he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for infinite wealth.
Quiero hacer un trato contigo.
Yo no hago tratos con niños.
Yo no soy un niño.
Ah, no.
However, he soon came to regret his decision, as he realized that those around him didn't like him. They liked his money. So, he decided to escape. Dressed in an elegant black charro suit and hat, he packed a single bag filled with money and rode his horse away from town. The devil soon caught up with him and collected what he was owed a little sooner than expected. Since then, El Charro rides the roads of the country looking for someone to take his place in hell, offering people riches in exchange for their souls.
¿Sabes qué es esto? Es lo que le pasa a la gente, que juega con los vivos y con los muertos. Somos iguales.
Pero no lo somos.
Before we unveil our top pick, let's look at some spooky honorable mentions. La Planchada, a nurse who died in the 1985 Mexico City earthquake. She supposedly still cares for patients during the night shift in the hospital where she perished.
Una historia avalada por cientos de pacientes. ¿Mito o realidad?
The Nahual, a paranormal being that roams the streets of Oaxaca and stalks pregnant women, only to attack their unborn children.
La leyenda contaba que un nahual podía desprenderse de su piel y transformarse en una de estas criaturas.
The Vampire of Belén Cemetery. After the town killed and cremated this supposed vampire, a cursed tree is said to have grown where his ashes were buried.
El vampiro será liberado para volver a aterrorizar a la población. Hasta el momento nadie está dispuesto a averiguar si los restos muestran rastro de haber sido un vampiro.
The Countess of Malibran, a beautiful woman famous for cheating on her husband and killing her lovers.
Y era el pozo que se hablaba de la leyenda en la que ella botaba a los hombres.
The Ahuizote. Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés wrote about a strange water dog with a powerful claw where its tail should be.
Y los hombres de Cortés no se atrevían a salir solos, y menos si escuchaban llorar a un niño.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. La Llorona. The character known as the Weeping Woman or the Wailer has been around since the pre-Hispanic era, but the most recognizable version of La Llorona's story comes from colonial times. That interpretation tells the tale of Luisa, a beautiful woman who ran from her town to live a forbidden love story with Don Nuño de Montes Claros, with whom she had 3 children. Sadly, one day, Don Nuño's love for her simply ran out, and he left Luisa and their children.
Es terrible lo que puede hacer una mujer desesperada.
One night, as she was looking for her love, Luisa came upon an engagement party in town. Don Nuño's engagement party. Madness took over and she ran home, where she took her children's lives. Luisa later died in a church, hiding from the townspeople. Filled with regret, her spirit still wanders, crying out in grief for her lost children.
Pero si prestas atención, de noche se escucha el llanto desolado de su alma arrepentida. Por eso le dicen La Llorona.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.